Hello teachers, welcome back to some more classroom management tips with me. I'm so excited that you're back to hear some more. I'm very excited to share them with you. Today is all about wiggling and movement. Our kids naturally want to wiggle. They want to move their bodies. It's really hard for them to sit still, really, no matter how old they are, because from the time they are born until myself as an adult, I'm still not really good at sitting still, to be honest with you. So I think it's important to consider this in our classroom and what our expectations are with our students. So let's think about some strategies that we can use in the classroom to help your students wiggle. The first thing I would suggest to you is to seat them at the back or edge of the carpet. So my big wigglers, some of them, they work best if they're sitting at the back because they have room to sit on their knees if they want to. Did you know that not all students can sit crisscross? It's physically impossible for them because their hips aren't designed for it. So think about that. We can't always sit on our bottoms. We need to give them choices. And so if they are sitting on the back, maybe they want to sit on their knees, or maybe they need to be able to stretch one leg out and tuck the other leg in. In that case, it's good for them to sit at the back or sit at the edge of your carpet space. If you teach on a carpet, that would be my suggestion. I do like to have assigned seating on my carpet, and so everyone knows their spot. We practice by saying, everybody, give them all their spots, and then we go and we practice. So I say, okay, everybody, now go back to your desks. And they go back to their desks. Then I say, okay, everyone come to the carpet. And then they all come to the carpet and they find their spot. We do that a few times in a row because it helps them to remember where their spots are. And then it eliminates future problems where they're fighting over where they're going to sit, and we can place them strategically so that maybe our learners who need a little bit more are closer to us at the front of the carpet. Sometimes I do it by height as well, so that the taller students sort of sit back off to the edge a little bit more. Sometimes we don't always want those tall students sitting at the back, so we can do some strategy with having maybe a few taller students in a row so that those tall students aren't always stuck at the back as well, because we want to meet the needs of all of our learners. And I do rotate them a few times throughout the year so that they're not always beside the same person. It helps when I do a lot of partner shares and things like that, and so mixing them up is also good. But for our wiggly students, really think about where you are seating them. What is a good spot for them that gives them enough room to move if they want to? Another consideration is at their desks. Should they sit in a regular chair? Do they need a little stool to sit on instead? Did you know it's okay for them to stand? They can stand and do their work just as well as they can sit and do their work. That's another possibility to give them. And it's easy because they don't want to stand forever. Their legs get tired. So they just push their chair backwards and then they can stand. And when they're tired and they're ready to sit, they just pull their chair forward and they can sit. The other options would be a wiggly seat. So you may have seen those stools and they do wobble a little bit. Now you want to be really careful with this because for some kids, it's just going to be an accident waiting to happen and it's not going to help them. Also, you need to make sure it's the right size for them. They come in young children ones and they also come in youth ones. So make sure you're picking the right size. They should be much shorter than you would expect them to be in order to be safe. Their feet should be able to touch completely on the floor so that they're stable enough. But just think about your students and if it's going to be a safe option for them, or are they just going to really wobble all over the place and keep falling and being disruptive. So you really have to know your students if you're going to go to a wiggly seat option. And then, are they a wiggly cushion student? This is when they're kind of thick cushions. They have little ridges on them, and the students can sit on those. They don't all like them. A lot of them have two sides where one side is a little bit more spiky and one side is bumpy, but not all students like them. Some of them thrive with them and some of them don't. So it's really important not to try one strategy, but to try a whole bunch of different things as far as seating goes. But the simplest solution, You can stand. You don't have to sit. It's okay. And you can tell them that, right? Giving them choice sometimes empowers them enough that alone reduces some of the behavior because they have a choice. And really, some of our students, that's all they want, is just to have a choice. Let them run. How often do you do quick little movement breaks? Outside my classroom is a little basketball court, and there's little tetherball poles. So what I have them do is just go run 3 laps on the blacktop. They do their 3 runs, and then we come back in. It's really fast. It's easy. It only takes a minute. Now, my kids do have inside shoes, so I will only pick this option on the dry days where I know their inside shoes aren't going to be getting soaking wet. We do get a lot of rain where I live, so that's a consideration, in which case I have other options for those rainy days. One of them is a gratitude movement break. So what I do is I tell my class 3 things that I am grateful for. And I try and be, appropriate for the classroom, but also be genuine in what I am grateful for. Often I will try and include things maybe about my students or about my family. Sometimes I'm grateful that it's a sunny day today, so we get to go outside for recess. Try and make it something that they can connect with, but not always surface level gratitude, right? Often they'll just go, I'm grateful for my friend. And so we want to move them a little bit past that. Then after I share my gratitude, I tell them, okay, get up and go tell somebody else 3 things you are grateful for. It gives them the opportunity to move. It gives them the opportunity to talk if they've been quiet for a little while. And it just also helps to release some good endorphins for them so that they're happier, because science tells us that practicing gratitude increases happiness in people. If your students are happy at school, guess what? You will have less behavior management to do. I also do a manners break, basically in the same format where they're interacting with others. But this time I would teach them something like, okay, so pretend to give a piece of paper to a friend and then take it back again. And then I will say, we're going to practice saying please and thank you. So you can teach things like getting them to say, can I please have that piece of paper? And then they give it to them, and then they have to say thank you. Or we pretend to gently accidentally bump into someone. Make sure you're clear with those expectations. And then the person can say, I'm sorry. And the other person can say, I forgive you. So setting up little manner scenarios to teach them authentic ways to use their manners. And before you know it, you have a very polite class. This works really well, not only for creating a respectful classroom, but a well-behaved classroom, because they're getting that little quick movement break. And it only takes about a minute to do this at the most. So you can just tell them, like, if you feel like they really need to wiggle, go do this with 5 people, go do this with 8 people, go do it with 2 people, like depending on how much time you have. It's also a good thing if you're all lined up and you're ready to go, but you realize you still have to wait 3 more minutes before you can go to that specialty class. So use this. It's a great thing to do to keep your kids on track and practice those manners at the same time. So multiple uses for a manners break. The last thing I want you to think about is your students' natural environment. At home, are they sitting still? Are they not moving? Are they not breathing? Like, seriously, what are they doing? They're not going to be sitting still. They're going to be moving about. They're going to be maybe playing in their rooms, or they're playing at the park, or they're going for a walk, or they're taking care of a pet, or they're helping their family set the table for dinner. They do a lot of movement type things at home. And so they aren't really going to be sitting at home. Even when they're watching TV, for example, they're still probably moving their bodies a little bit. So we need to just think about what is best for them, how to help them get those wiggles out, give them that wiggle room when they need it, and you will find that your class will have way less behavior issues for you to deal with if you follow these little strategies. Thanks so much for joining me. If you're looking for no prep and low prep activities to teach literacy in your classroom for your kindergarten to 2nd grade students, please feel free to check out my TPT store, Teaching Literacy with Deb. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, as I will be continuing to release more videos to help you in your classroom. Have an amazing day, and don't forget, what you do is important. Bye for now.